Hey everyone, this is Elias from RefMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2026 Volkswagen Golf R. Now, does that R stand for race or just really, 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 really good? I think it's the second. So let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front and this thing looks mean. Now we do have the graphite gray color. Unfortunately, we only get really 3 selections with the Golf R. We get the gray, we get the black, and we get that blue that looks really, really good. Volkswagen, I need more colors. I need the reds. I need the yellows that we had with the Mark IIIs and the Mark IVs. I need the teal color, the Montana color that we had in the Mark IIs. Yeah, let's give it some life. Let's celebrate the Golf with a Harlequin. Yeah, let's go ahead and go back to that and give us a fun special edition or something like that. Regardless though, this thing looks nice. I do love the gray color. It kind of gives off like a slate color, and it just looks really, really nice. And we do have the headlights, which are incredible. They are really nice and bright, clear. They are adaptive as well. So you're turning the steering wheel and those lights will follow you. And it's really helpful in my area where I drive because I'm kind of more in a rural area and we don't have a lot of lighting and we have some pretty steep turns and curves. So the fact that I was turning and I was able to make sure there was no animal or anything like that, debris, on the road was really, really nice to have. So love these headlights. And we also have that nice blue stripe that goes on the top. Yeah, we get a little bit of that nod to some of the earlier Golfs that have the red stripe on the grille. In this case, it's blue, and we do have a nice LED lighting bar right underneath there. The Volkswagen badge lights up. We have the nice little R, that little cursive, that stands for really, really, really good. And then we get down to the bumper, and I love this. It is a more squared off kind of lower bumper compared to the GTi, which has kind of a bubblier, more Ninja Turtles like face to it. Now we do lose the fog lights. So we don't have the fog lights like we had in the GTi, but we do get these big openings for cooling to go into the Golf engine. And I kind of like it. I do kind of miss that cool hexagon pattern, I believe, that we have with the GTi, but it makes up for it with this kind of really aggressive lower bumper there. But yeah, love this thing. So let's go ahead and see what is under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and it is cranking out 328 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 7-speed DSG automatic and then to the R Performance 4Motion all-wheel drive system. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, we still don't have a VR6. For the novelty aspect of it would be nice, but these 4 cylinders with these turbos are insane. The amount of power we get with this, the responsiveness we get with this is just unbelievable. Love this thing. Now, the 7-speed, yeah, that thing can shift so fast. And when you switch it into the race mode, that first to second just hits hard and it feels really, really good that the power is just, transferring over to that all-wheel drive system. Now, this 4Motion all-wheel drive is not your typical soccer mom CUV, SUV 4Motion offering that Volkswagen has for those. This thing is more active than reactive. What I mean by that is you could definitely feel that when you go to accelerate really hard, it already has the calculations to go ahead and know, okay, typically with this, it's going to lose some traction in the front. So before it actually happens, I definitely felt the system sending the power to the back and getting this guy forward. And same thing when we are having the steering wheel at a certain angle and we put in a certain amount of throttle input, it was definitely transferring the power or preparing to transfer the power with that. So with that information. So it's definitely a improved system from other 4Motions like the other vehicles I've driven, because again, it is more on the, okay, I know what's going to happen. Let me go ahead and start transferring the power to the correct wheels and adjust accordingly depending on what that is. Love it. And that's what makes this thing so good at driving. Same thing with that differential. That differential system is just get this guy rotated. And with that being said, we do have a drift mode. Did I use it? No. Honestly, I don't have access to an open area, which is where you definitely want to try this. You don't want to try this on the road. I know my driving limits, so I will respect the vehicle, respect my friends at Volkswagen for letting me borrow this, and obviously not hitting that drift button. But it was so tempting. It definitely was. And that's because of how this thing just loves to get the power down to the right wheels. With that being said, drivability for everyday driving was a little tough. And that is because this thing is always in boost. Like if you have the boost meter on the gauge cluster, it was reading like 5 to 6 pounds. When you're complete stop and you have the brakes in, no accelerator. When you let off the brake, it's going to give you a kick of 10 PSI. Again, we're going based on that meter. I don't know how accurate it is with how much that turbo is, measuring that, or if that little meter is accurate, but you definitely feel when you let off the gas, it's going to give you that kick. So be aware of stop and go traffic. If the vehicle in front of you moves just a little bit and you want to inch up just a little bit, don't do it. Wait for them to move a little bit more and then let off the brakes, because it is then going to kick forward a good amount. Yeah, that was kind of my only downside to this as far as this whole week that I've had it, is it doesn't like to be driven slow. This is like my dog. My dog, when he knows it's time for a walk, he wants to pull and pull and pull. After a while, he kind of calms down, but it just wants to go and go. Yeah, it's fun though. So let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice 19-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 235/35 Hankook Ventus S1 Evo 3. Now, a couple of things with this. So we do have a nice 19-inch wheel. Yeah, these things are big. Yeah, these Golfs have grown up significantly, and they look really nice. I like the design we have. It's a nice gray color with the kind of machined face on it. We have the nice R in the middle for, really good. And then we also have the tires, which have been incredible. The amount of grip that we get is insane with these. Now, ride quality though, because this is a tiny sidewall, you're going to feel a lot of the bumps. So just kind of be aware of that. With that being said, same thing goes with the suspension. The suspension has adaptive settings a good amount as well. And even on the softest or more comfortable setting, it is extremely sports-like. So just, yeah, and I'm being nice by saying sports-like and not saying harsh, even though it is harsh. So just kind of be aware of that. I didn't mind it as much. Sometimes I was like, oh, hit a pothole a little too hard. And yeah, you'll just kind of ride in silence after that. My passenger, my wife, was kind of feeling it a little bit. Some of the bumps that we kind of have here it's kind of modulation of bumps. It can kind of get dizzying. So just kind of be aware that it is a little bit more on the sporty side. The brakes are huge. These things are incredible. They are 14-inch brakes. Yeah, they're almost the size of my Miata's wheels. That's crazy. And they look incredible. They're awesome. They are great performing when you get some heat in them. So today has been nice because it's hot and it's been easy to get some temperature in them. But the first couple of days I had this, we were in like 50s or 60s, and the temperature, when you started off, you had to get some heat in them. And yeah, you're gonna have to really slam on the brakes to get some heat in them. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see we have the iconic Volkswagen Golf silhouette, and it just looks really, really nice. Taking a look at those 19-inch wheels, we can definitely see why we're starting to get to some bigger wheels to just get it to look nicely proportionately with the size of the Golf that we have here. But yeah, they look great. And we take a look at the front side of things, and one little detail I forgot to mention, with the front bumper, we do have some air openings on the side there that just look really aggressive and just kind of get the air where it's supposed to when you're going really fast in this little guy. So love that. And then we have the R here, again, for really, really, really good. And then at the bottom, it's kind of a shame. I kind of wish we do have kind of a nice little side skirt that kicks up here. I was kind of wondering, I wonder how that would look in black, because we don't have a lot of accent to this other than, well, on the side profile, other than kind of the mirror, and that's really it. Maybe this little guy here. So I think kind of framing it at the bottom, essentially what we did with the front bumper, where we had that little black strip there. So yeah, would have kind of been nice to have seen that. And then we get to the back doors, which are really nice and big, and obviously we have our hatch there with that little spoiler, which we'll talk about when we get to the back. Now, I don't have the keys with me because, yeah, let me show you what it can do. Now, I have my key in my pocket, and when I get next to the Golf, it is going to unlock, and this guy is going to start to unfold. Now, one thing I just realized, I love the way it kind of folds and unfolds. I just realized that we have really bad rains here in Texas, so I don't know how much it would collect. So I'm hoping we have a really good seal in here so that it doesn't accumulate the water in there. Anyways, key in my pocket, sensed it, I can go ahead and open, and I have a nice big door to get into. So I go ahead and close this off, and I have the little indentation to lock. Mirror goes up, and then I try the back, and yeah, we're not going to get the sensor in the back, so I can also just go ahead and do that, and it will unlock and get in, no issues. Now, yes, there's a ton of configuration options. You can do just the front door to unlock. You can do just nothing to unlock when you get near it, and when I get away from it, it will also lock. So all these different settings that you can play around with the infotainment system in there. But yeah, that's what we get with the side profile. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we get in the back. We get to the back, and it just looks so good. We're gonna start off with the obvious, the spoiler at the top. It just looks incredible. I love the look to it. I love the aggressiveness to it. I love the rally kind of inspired aspect of it, where we do have kind of the openings right in here. So it doesn't sit flush with it in the sense of it's not touching the top of the hatch. It does have that little opening with a little piece in the middle for support. So love the fact that this is on there, and the fact that we do get that black strip, which, like I said, maybe with the side skirt, that would have been a nice touch to kind of have there. But yeah, we have that. Then we get to the rear glass, which no issues with it. Thankfully, we have a wiper. It's been really, we got hit with a really bad storm while we were driving in the Golf, and yeah, easy visibility, no issues with that. We get the taillights, which are awesome. Love the design that we have with that. Very simple, very straightforward. We have the Volkswagen badge here. We have just the R for really, really, really good. So love the fact that we have that, and not Golf or any badging. It's like, you know what? It's just the R. So love that. And then the lower bumper looks awesome. Again, we have those little black trim on the bottom there. And then we have the quad exhaust, which are really nice. So you can really get this 4-cylinder sounding really nice, especially with the different settings that you can make it louder or quieter. So yeah, love this rear end. And yeah, that's kind of what we get. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in here. We take a look at what's inside the back, and we open up the hatch by pushing the top button, or the top part of the Volkswagen badge, and then we go ahead and lift with the bottom, and we get this typical hatch. Not like super big, not like super small either, but we have a good amount of space. And we have this cover here to make sure everything is out of sight. So nice little cover there. Again, we can see my super big bag, my tripod fits no problem. I was able to fit, I believe, 3 waters here, 3 big packs of water from Costco, no issues. And then we have some groceries on top as well, so really nice. And then we come down here and we have the subwoofer. Yeah, the subwoofer has been pretty impressive. It's been loud, it's been clear, it's been punchy as hell. And we had to tone it down because it was at the setting when we received it, it was just shaking the whole Golf. Now, we don't get a spare tire. We do get this, which is our spare tire or our repair kit for that. So just kind of be aware of that. But yeah, that's what we get in the back. We take a look at the door and it's really nice. I love a lot of the design to it. There's one big thing I really dislike though. So we start at the top, and here we do have a good amount of thickness or depth on the top for us to rest our arm on there and be comfortable. And very simple controls, very clean. We have for our locks there, we have our door opener there, and then we come to the controls of the windows and the mirrors, no issues there. Then we have this. This is what I'm talking about. And that is the door handle, or the door grab, I guess you could call it. And it's open. Yeah, see my hand going through? I dislike that, and so did my wife, because sometimes it's nice to just have a kind of blocked off area here to put little things in there. A phone, a key, a wallet, small little things like that. I know I'm nitpicking, but that was definitely a big one that we wish we could have had something there to kind of stop that from going through. And then at the bottom we have our storage area for our water bottles, additional storage. Yeah, I know I could probably put all that stuff I described here, but it's easier to get to right up here. But yeah, that's what we get there. And then we have the Harman Kardon system, which is incredible. This thing has been loud, and with that subwoofer in the trunk, yeah, we've been blasting music in this, and it has just been unbelievable, clear, loud, everything you want it to be. But yeah, that's what we get with the door. We take a look at the seats, and yeah, as we can tell, that R definitely is for really, really good, because these things are just that, really, really good. They look incredible, they feel incredible, and they're just amazing. Yeah, so let's get started on the top. So at the top we have this nice soft material, and we have kind of this carbon fiber print on here, which is awesome. The shape to this is perfect. My shoulders rested right on these side bolsters up here, and even though I am a taco barbecue lover, they are definitely friendly for us bigger framed guys. And we have the R in the stitching there. Incredible. The cooling though, yeah, I don't know if it just can't compete with Texas heat, but it just, yeah, I wasn't feeling the cooling. I bet the heating wouldn't be an option, but when it's 90 degrees out, I don't think I need the heating. But yeah, everything else was super comfortable. These side bolsters definitely held me in place. And same thing with the bottom, kept my legs nice and, controlled and not just kind of flailing, or it supported me is what I'll say. And then here we have our options for our saving. We do have 3 presets that we can use. And then we have our power controls right in there. But yeah, these things are incredible and definitely some of my favorite seats. We take a look at the steering wheel, and this thing is really nice. I like the finishes that we get with it. So we have this nice soft material at the top, and then on the sides we do get the dimpled, really grippy finish to this, so love that. And then we have the blue stitching, which just looks incredible in this. When we get to the bottom, we do kind of have a flattish steering wheel with the anodized blue finish to that little trim there, and we get our beautiful R right in there. One thing I do love about Volkswagen wheels is just this little bump. This little bump here where this material kind of meets with this. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I don't know if it's just kind of excess material, but it is really nice when you are, you know, in that spirited drive. Just that extra tiny little support makes a world of a difference. And then here on the side, we have our cruise control options. We have our R button, which basically gets this guy basically into like a race mode, so to speak. And then we have our volume down there, and on the right hand side we have our controls for our gauge cluster and then our next track. Now, one thing I did realize that these buttons, well, at least the volume ones and the next track, it is not just push buttons, but actually sensored buttons, so like touch buttons. So you'll see there right now I am playing Dreamcatcher, so by Grayscale, great band. So I can press the button and you're gonna see it's going to change the track, or I can swipe over and it is changing the track, and I feel a haptic that happens there. It is kind of cool. Just make sure you don't accidentally activate it like I did. I was just kind of here, and I was just kind of doing one of this, and I'm like, why is the volume going crazy? I'm not pushing it. And then I realized, okay, because it does that. But yeah, that's what we get with the wheel. Then we get to the gauge cluster, which is an all digital display, and there's a lot to this. So it's gonna be very quick, very surface of what I'm gonna show you guys. So we have different views. So right now we have the center tack with the speedometer, and then we have this option, as you can see there, it kind of shows you a little bar to fill up, and then we have this view as well, and then this view as well, the maps option there, and back to this. So we'll stay in this one because it has kind of like the most items here, and like I said, there is a lot, because then we have on the left hand side, we can go through all of these options that we can put there on here. One thing I wish we had were kind of saved modes. So Toyota has it where we can kind of save, like if we're in one mode to another, so that would be kind of cool to have. And then we have on the right hand side, we have the option where we can essentially put the same thing or different items on there as well. So yeah, love the fact that we have that. Again, there is a lot to this, so just kind of be aware of that. Yeah, so we have kind of performance, and as you can see, this is what I wanted to show you, what I meant by we're always in boost. This little meter is showing that we're technically right now in 4 PSI. So I'll put it in drive, and you're gonna see that when I'm in drive right now, and then if I let off the brake, it immediately jumps up to 10, and it's a 4-mile-an-hour jump quickly. So it's not that you know, I guess behaved, because it just kind of kicks forward. It's like you engage a clutch quickly. So just be aware of that in that stop and go traffic. Now I'm gonna try my best to kind of ease into it, but it's still like, you can feel my brake pedal really kind of moving. So yeah, just be aware of that. It does kind of want to get away from you, and you're gonna want to have to make sure you have some control of that. But that's what we get with the gauge cluster. We get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is nice, clear, out of the way, but still easily accessible and visible. Yeah, accessible. I can literally go to the corner of that and to this corner here. So love this. It is a little bit on the complex side of things. You do have some menus. You're gonna kind of have to remember where things are. We do have like this here, if we want to do the start stop, if we want to change the HUD, this is what you need to do or get access to, the electronic stability control or the traction control. If you're wanting to do launch control, you do have to, you're gonna want to put quick access to it. Yeah, folding in mirrors, yeah, and then we can, like, if we don't care about the folding in the mirrors button, we can go ahead and press here, and it's going to give us the different options that we have for that. So it's a lot, so just kind of be aware of what you get with this. And yeah, more options that we have lower in R. So yeah, just be aware. Now don't worry, you have some of these a little bit lower, which we'll get to, but that's what we get with the favorites. Again, there's tons and tons of options to kind of go through. The menu systems are pretty deep as well. You'll kind of get used to this Volkswagen system after a little bit of use. But if you just kind of want to stay in your CarPlay, you can, and it's really good, especially again with that Harman Kardon system, which has just been incredible. Now, one thing that has been a little frustrating is the climate system. So we don't have any buttons. It is all on the screen. So it's touch system and this little kind of slider there, which is a little tough to kind of see, especially with that piano black. There you go. That's a lot better. And then this is basically just kind of the slider for the temperature. And this is the slider for the volume as well. So there is no volume knob. There is a volume slider. Yeah, it's a little, I wish we had a knob for these things. And the climate system was a little frustrating because it was really hot in here, and I set it to 69, and it definitely should have been blowing a significant amount of air and significantly colder than what it was doing. It was like if the fan speed was at 1 and it was maybe about 70 to about 73 degrees, I'd say, as far as what it was blowing out. So it wasn't really working that well, and it was hot in here. And trust me, I checked, I made sure auto was there. We were syncing as well, so both of them had that, and it should have automatically done everything. So even, even at the low setting there, it should have definitely blown out significantly more to get to that. So yeah, because right now I do have it set to 65, and that is when it was like, oh, you want to be cool. So yeah, just kind of be aware of that. You're going to have to skew your temperatures a little cooler than normal. Other than that though, once it starts to go, it goes. Except for the, like I said, the cooling on the seats wasn't ever really there. And then we have those controls that are quick access to. So we have our assist for driving assist, safety things, our climate system, so we could have quick access to that, our drive modes here. So when we get to our drive modes, we have eco, we have comfort, we have our sport, race, and custom. So let me go ahead and get back to that. There is a lot to this. So we can go into eco mode and immediately turns off, and it's basically, yeah, just eco mode. I was in this 90% of the time, and it's still doing that kind of little kick that I was telling you guys about. And then comfort, yeah, just again a little bit tighter, a little bit faster responsiveness, and so on. Now we do get yeah, we woke up the beast. When we are in race mode, we do have a drift mode, we do have a Nürburgring or special mode on here as well. I know my level of skill. I would have liked to have tried this, but I do need an open space to do so. It's also, when you activate it, make sure you are doing this on a closed track. Please be responsible. But yeah, that's what we have. And then when we go to custom, we can really mess with things. And this is where I was telling you guys about the comfort of the suspension. I am all the way in comfort, and this still has some kind of stiffness to it, so just be aware of that. And then yeah, all the things that we can kind of play around with in here. But yeah, I've been liking my custom, setting it up, and I think it's a good balance of sporty feel, but kind of more relaxed, I guess, power as well. So yeah, it's nice to have those flexibility options. We come down a little bit more, and we have our USB-C connections right in there, and we have a wireless charger in here. So I'm going to go ahead and try my chuck test, and I can tell you that we are charging. I wish we could tell with something other than having to go to the screen, because yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell if we are charging. So yeah, kind of a shame. Now, one thing that was kind of cool is we were kind of at a parking spot, and we were wanting to get, to watch something, and I was able to do that. And we were watching something, it was F1. Yeah, it was F1. We were at a parking spot waiting for things, and yeah, it's nice that we were able to have that there without getting like a big mount or anything like that. So yeah, kind of a cool little thing that I kind of discovered. And then we come a little bit back and we have our piano black trim, which you can see it's glaring everything. But we have our start stop button right in there. We have our parking button, and then we have our tiny little shifter. So yeah, tiny little shifter where we can go down for drive, down for sport, and then we obviously can go up a little bit for neutral and then full up for reverse. And then yeah, as we can see when we go to reverse, we have our camera system on there. So yeah, it's not a big issue there. I wish we had 360-degree system, but that's what we get with the Golf R. And then we have our parking brake right in there, our little area of storage here. My wife was able to kind of put her iPhone there. We come back a little bit, we have our cup holder. This is going to be for bigger cups, which we had a big cup. And then we were able to go ahead and do this for the smaller, typical kind of coffee mugs on here. So yeah, not a problem. And then we have a little bit of storage here. I don't know if I'd call this much of a yeah, cup holder, because we have that though. So just be aware that you wouldn't be able to bring the armrest forward if you have a tall cup. And then we have obviously our 12 volt right in there, so we have that option. Then we get to the armrest and it's been comfortable. We can go ahead and do that. We can bring it back. We can kind of adjust it for the height. There's really low, so definitely lift it up. And then at the highest has been fairly comfortable. One thing, oh yeah, beautiful stitching there as usual. And then we lift this up, and then the storage has been pretty much nothing. It's been really tiny, so just be aware of that. Other than that though, yeah, it's been pretty good to just rest your arm there. And let's take a look at the back now. We take a look at the back door, and very simple, very straightforward design. Nothing really spectacular, but again, very simple. And again, we do have that opening that I wish I had it, and I remember my kid saying, I wish I had something here to just put a toy or something, just something for the kids in the back. But we have that. Then we have the storage down here. We have the speakers for the Harman Kardon system, which is again just unbelievable sounding. And then we get to the back seats, and they are really nice. So we do get, starting at the top, we do get this nice blue accent there. We get that carbon fiber print right in here, and then we get the seats, which are comfortable. Kiddo loved them, had no complaints about them. His booster seat had no issues with that. He has his vents in the back. He has his heated option there, and then right below there we have USB-C. Now, this is probably going to be a 4-person seater, because that transmission tunnel or that drivetrain tunnel there, drive shaft, whatever you want to call it, it's big. It really is raised up. So middle seat is definitely going to be suffering a little bit on a long drive. And then we bring this down, and like my kiddo said, we have the secret cup holders, and also have the option of getting this down for a through access. So yeah, really nice. So he loved it. He's been in the back enjoying, and I'd say it's kid approved. We take the Golf R for a drive, and honestly, it's a little difficult to drive slowly. Yeah, so fast, easy to drive. It's easy to just kind of get this guy going and taking it on some spirited drives. That's the easy part. The hard part is definitely the slower stop and go traffic, getting out of a parking lot after a concert and everyone is just on their bumpers, and making sure you tighten up the space between the vehicle in front of you. And I say that because that's what I had to do this weekend, and that's what was difficult in this vehicle because of the fact that this is always in boost and always wanting to go. So like stop and go traffic is going to be a little tough, because even if you let off the brakes, it is going to want to go. The suspension, it is, even in the softest setting, it is a little bit on the stiffer side. So if you want a sports car that looks like a hatchback, this is what you get with the Golf R. And honestly, I didn't mind it. My wife was starting to mind it a little bit when, yeah, some of the bumps were feeling a little bit stronger than normal. But yeah, just be aware of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in race mode, and we're gonna have some fun because, yeah, this thing can really go, and this thing can really turn. Yeah. Oh, it is just spectacular at going. And the other thing, it is really good at stopping when you get some heat into those big brakes. So yeah, just be aware of that you do have to kind of warm them up, or else they will not, the pedal feel is going to be very, very strong. You're gonna have to apply a lot of braking power when it is cold. So just some of those things, again, when you're dealing with a sports car, you are going to need to kind of do sometimes, especially when you're getting a little bit more race performance on those brake pads. But yeah, it is a blast. This thing is so fast, but it's very controlled when you are getting the speeds up there. On the kind of slower side of things, like I said, it is going to be a little bit tougher to kind of get this guy tamed is how I guess I will describe it. Yeah, this definitely doesn't like to be tamed with stop and go traffic. So let's go ahead and see how we do with the 3-point stop. We will cheat a little bit. We will go ahead and put a couple of wheels down in the grass, and that is because we have the 4Motion, so it'll help us out just in case. We'll get more wheels spinning than if we were only in a GTi with front wheel drive. But yeah, it's been pretty good. No issues with that. Now we've gone ahead and we've set up our race boxes, our 0 to 30, 0 to 60 telemetry box. It is also a drag timer and lap timer all in one box. Great little device, great company to work with. Now I'll go ahead and put my link in the description for a possible little discount. Now we've gone ahead and now this does have launch control. So you have to put it in race mode, so I will go ahead and put it in race, and you do have to turn off the traction control. Now it's very in there, so I did program it to one of my buttons here, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, which it is off, and now I'm gonna go ahead and hold down the brake really hard and accelerate. Launch control program active, and go. Okay, so let's talk numbers. We're dealing with a 0 to 30 in 1.75 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 4.56 seconds. Yeah, that is insane, and yeah, that's what it felt like. That 0 to 30 was really spectacular. It was really, really good at just kind of going. Let me go ahead and turn on the traction control. Let me put it in ESC Sport so we can see how it feels, if it feels any different. But the 4Motion system is just spectacular at getting the power to the right wheel. The differential is awesome at just kind of getting the vehicle turned on, you know, mid-corner, well, entry, mid-corner, and even exit. It is just so good at getting this guy distributing the power. Yeah, there we go. That was awesome. That felt really, really nice in the Golf R. It is just spectacular at getting this little bit of torque steer, but that was fun. It was engaging. It was, you know, telling us, hey, this is what your front tires are doing. So it is just spectacular at getting this guy going. Man, this thing is a blast. Now we went back to the custom mode, which was kind of my settings. I have everything kind of relaxed, just hanging out, just, you know, as comfortable as possible, because like I said, even on these bumpy roads, it can be a little kind of, yeah, teeth chattering a little bit, yeah, as you can hear, but this thing has been a blast. I thought the GTi was it. Like, I thought when I first drove that, and I'm glad I drove that first, because I thought, wow, that is incredible. Do you really need an R? You know, because the GTi is so well done. But then you get this. Yeah, the GTi goes to 10, but this one definitely goes to 11. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Volkswagen Golf. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.